Hi, beautiful people. Welcome to the Fort Salem Library, where we read you your fanfiction. So sit down or don't, relax or don't, and enjoy these stories in a way you have not before. We at Fort Salem Library do not own Motherland Fort Salem or any of the related characters. The Motherland Fort Salem series is created by Elliot Lawrence and owned by Freeform. This story is a work of fanfiction and is meant for entertainment only. We are not making any profit from these stories. All rights of the original Motherland Fort Salem story belong to Freeform. We also do not own Sarah Alder, the Phoenix Risen, or any of its original characters and storylines. We did, however, get permission from the author to read their story. This story was created and written by Silver_Cleo, and you can find a link in our show notes. This story is being read to you by me, Britt. Sarah Alder, the Phoenix Risen. She'd always hated fire. Even as a child, when they were safe and happy. She'd always preferred to stand in the rain as it fell, instead of joining her parents and sister at the hearth. It was unfortunate that fire was so necessary for survival. Sarah Alder could justify her hatred and fear of fire after her parents were burned in their home, escaping with the clothes on their backs and the coins they could fit into their dress pockets. She and Margaret could justify their fear of fire. At 16, she took Margaret at 14 over the seas to the new colonies out west. They could make a new life there, a place where nobody would know they were witches. It was a long journey to reach the new world, but after 6 months they finally settled in a town that was being called Salem. They built a small home and found work in the community. They had avoided the fire. But fire only takes a spark to ignite, much like hatred. It burns through everything in its path. Margaret turned down the wrong person, and they were heralded as witches because of the many men calling for their hands in marriage. The women in the church convinced it was witchcraft. The fire came back, burning brighter than before, multiplied on the torches they carried as they shouted for she and Margaret to be hung. She hated fire as they made her stand bound and gagged, watching as they hung Margaret, her sweet baby sister, punished because of another's jealousy. They gave her a chance to speak, to renounce the devil so her punishment would be lesser. She would not give them that satisfaction. Instead, she sung, calling forth the rain she loved to douse the fire, leaving them stuck in the mud, unable to see as she hurt them the way they hurt her. Pushing the man from the stands with the wind, she called to the goddess for protection and guidance. Embrace the flames, child. Rise like the phoenix of myth. She still hated fire, years later, as her coven burned in the hatred of men. Hated fire, as the woman she loved broke her heart and vowed to make her pay for the simple act of sparing a group further pain and suffering. She hated fire when she had them build a fireplace into every room on base, so that she might be reminded of the goddess' words to rise like a phoenix wherever she was. She controlled that which she hated so that it could never burn her again, so that it could never take from her or destroy her again. She hated fire until she didn't. Until she met Telly Craven, a wild cadet with hair made from fire and eyes lit like ambers. Hated fire until Craven pulled her to face the truth. She had become desensitized to the pain her army felt after years of being burned by hatred and service. She no longer felt or realized the flames that had been slowly burning towards her for centuries. Hated fire until she was given to the mother and set the task to change the world. After all, what is a phoenix that is not burned and reborn from the ash? Please find the fanfiction you just listened to on Archive of Our Own and leave the author some love. Without them, this wouldn't be possible, and we want to thank them from the bottoms of our hearts for creating these amazing stories and keeping the show alive.